with me today is Michael Woodson with Baylor Men's Tennis. And Michael, let's get it started. Welcome to the show, by the way. Seems like it's kind of a tradition to get away during that between the breaks, between fall and spring, and talk about your trip this year. Y'all went to Mount Jacinto? I started to say St. Jack. Is that what it's called?
Yeah,
is that another place?
It's an aerial tramway that goes up to the top of this mountain, Jacinto, and it's a really cool area. We've been going to Indian Wells, Palm Springs for the last couple of years. Paula Hurd's been so gracious and hosting us and just, taking really good care of us. We're able to train out at the Vintage Club, and it's just an amazing experience for our student athletes and staff, and opportunity to bond and really get ready for the season. But yeah, I thought, my wife should get credit for the trip up the aerial tramway. We started talking about it last year. We were able to plan it and take the guys up to the top of the mountain. It's a really, just incredible views. Just looking out over Indian Wells, looking out over the desert. There's 9 cities there, and then you get up to the top, and it's just incredible hiking, and just the scenery is amazing. And so we had them kind of spread out and spend some time away from each other, doing some goal setting, not just in the short term with the season, team, individual, but also kind of over their lifetime, over the next 20, 30 years. What do they want to accomplish? What do they want to be known for? And it's just very peaceful. And as this has become a tradition, we're always trying to find different things that we can do to give them new experiences. And so I thought it was a huge success.
How much of it is tennis? Or do you, because you're that close to the season, you got to get some tennis.
It was a lot. Yeah. The guys would tell you they played a lot of tennis.
Yeah.
It was, we're training for a couple of hours in the morning, a couple of hours in the afternoon. We'll do fitness, gym, one or the other each day. There were a couple times where we only played once in the day. We'd go for maybe 3 or 3.5 hours in that time. So yeah, I would say, they're training a lot more there than during the actual season, but it's a good balance because we get up early. It's so nice there, even at 7 a.m. The sun's up, and it's crisp at 55 degrees wherever, but in 45 minutes it's 65, then 70, and it's just beautiful. And we tried to save our activities for the afternoon or early evening.
Obviously open in the spring season this weekend, playing Lamar and ACU on Sunday. What do you hope to get out of those 2 matches?
Yeah, we need reps. I think, our guys are looking good competitively in practice. I think they're finding that balance of working on some things, but then really, looking to execute and find success in their favorite patterns. And I think they need more of that. Now it's time to really practice we compete anytime, anywhere against anybody. To get multiple matches in on one day gives us an opportunity to see, several faces. Some guys probably need to play a couple of times on the day to really work through, some of the things that they've been practicing and doing, just with us that need to be into a live match. I think we're ready, but I want to see it, when it really counts. And we've played Lamar and Abilene, for the last several years. Mm-hmm. They're very well coached teams, great programs, and they've got some talent. So we're going to have to be, really focused on just trying to execute our games at a high level.
I would think maybe your most experienced team returning, 6 of the top 7 back. Teddy's obviously gone, Christopher Franson that played in the doubles, but you got a really experienced group coming back.
We do. We've got some amazing leadership, I think, from our older guys. A lot of our top guys are older, juniors, seniors. Even Devin and Louie have made huge jumps as sophomores. It's a group that feels ready to make a big jump. We were able to see some success, I thought, in the fall, but I've even seen over the last week or so that these guys are starting to understand what it takes to play at the level that we expect as such a historically strong program. I think we're going to see that leadership, that experience come out over the next few months.
How important is that to have leadership, and really leadership at the top of your lineup, even like experienced guys that you can count on as leaders too?
I think it's more important probably than the talent
Right.
and the level.
Right.
It's not an easy place to be, as a leader. I mean, it's hard enough in tennis to worry about yourself, and it is such an individual sport at times. But to be looking out for what the other guys are doing, how they're adjusting to being at Baylor, how they're adjusting to being part of a team, the ebbs and the flows of the season, the difficulty of the academics, and balancing just everything that you're expected to balance here. You need the older guys to really look after you, and they have to be very buttoned up in order to manage and handle their own stuff and fill their cups, but also be able to pour some out and be selfless into the cups of the other guys that are kind of learning the ropes. And we've got some incredible guys that have transferred in addition to Marco and Justin. Oscar, who took him a little adjusting to being here at Baylor last year, and he's hit his stride. And then Quentin has adjusted very quickly in his role, and I think they're making a huge impact on the team.
Not the first time you've added a big one at mid-year, I guess. Devin, wasn't he?
He was a January enrollee last year. So.
But a big one this year with Alexandru Chirita?
It's
Do we need to get that pronounced? What is it?
Yeah, Krita.
Okay.
And, even I'm not saying it well enough. You really need to get him on here.
With that,
I would just call him Alex.
Yeah, Alex. I like that.
And so he's a wonderful young man.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, we've had a great Romanian in our recent history with Adrian. Alex and Adrian knew each other somewhat. They'd trained together in the past, practiced together, and so Adrian was the one who introduced us to Alex, and we've gotten to know him over the last couple of years, and fortunate enough to bring him in here as a graduate international transfer. And so he's 22 years old. He brings a ton of experience on the professional circuit and has had a lot of success and is really playing his best tennis. Certainly an adjustment for him being out of Romania and having to come to the United States, but his game is built for college. His game is built for a hard court. We've already been so impressed with how comfortable he's gotten being with the guys and how well he fits in. He's just a humble, hard worker that is just wants to be valuable and make an impact for Baylor, which is really cool. Sometimes that takes a little bit of time for them to understand, and he's understood that right away and has come in and has really just worked his tail off. And we're excited to see what he can do. I don't want to put too much pressure on him. We have had a lot of great January enrollees. Adrian, Matthias, Finn came in January, Devin, Luke, all of them came in January. Marco came in January. So, we usually end up with a January enrollee, and they usually do very well. And so I think, testament to all the guys that are already here really wrapping their arms around him and helping him. And, I don't think Alex is going to be any different.
They probably just come in for that Palm Springs trip. That timing works out just right. That's where you kick it off.
It works out
them.
Wonderfully, and I promise you, Alex had no idea.
Okay.
And as he's on his way, the guys are trying to explain it to him, and he didn't really understand. And it was probably at the point where he shook hands with Bill Gates that he was like, "Oh, okay, this is serious." This is not just what they're talking about, But it's just an amazing experience for these guys, and I'm really excited about Alex and his joining the team.
Awesome. Going back to last year, you get the tragic news about Devin's family really just hours before the first round match against San Diego. I know you left it up to him, but that had to be difficult for him just to even go out there and play. But he actually played pretty well.
Devin's a special young man. What he went through, no one will ever truly understand or be able to, to wrap their head around it. It was a horrific day that I don't think any of us will ever forget. one thing that I was most proud of was just how the guys really looked after him.
Yeah.
It became so little about anybody else and so much about, hey, let's just give Devin a reprieve, for a few hours, just help him, separate himself from reality just for this little bit. And he wanted to play. He said it's what his dad would have wanted.
Yeah.
And he made everybody in his family, everybody at Baylor really proud. I've never seen anything like that. What a show of courage and strength. From him. I mean, he really maybe played the best out of everybody out there. It was a special thing to see and something that, I'll remember forever. Getting to know him better and better and better going through this whole summer where he had a ton of success. This fall, he had a very solid fall. And he just continues to show what great strength he has, how well raised he was by his incredible parents and the supporters around him at home. We're just very fortunate to have him here at Baylor, and I think he feels similarly about being here. He's a special young man, and it was a difficult circumstance, one that he'll deal with for many years to come. But he's growing, from all of his experiences, and you can see him really taking more of a leadership role within this team very quickly. I think things like this happen, and you have to grow up very fast in a way that you may not want to or be ready for. And I've seen that from him naturally, and he is surrounded by amazing people at home and here at Baylor that have kind of helped him through. And I'm excited to see what he can do. I think he's going to make a lot of people proud this year.
Awesome. And he was a point away from getting a point on the board.
He was.
That's how well he was playing that day. Coming off, I guess, you had so many new faces, new people in last year, a little bit of a rebuilding year. What areas or where have you seen the most improvement from the team in the fall? And what I think has been a really good fall.
We had a great fall. Yeah. I mean, I really was impressed with the direction that many of our guys moved and just kind of how we handled ourselves out there as a team. I think last year we struggled to put it together in matches where we were truly, we call it showing up at all 9 spots.
Right.
I think the mark of a great team is the ability to go out and truly compete everywhere. You're not going to, at the top of the game, you're not going to win or lose all 9 positions.
Right.
But if you don't give yourself a chance, it's really hard to win. Yeah. And so I've seen more of that from our guys when we're competing in practice, when we're working on things, when we go out and play in tournaments. I'm seeing more of just a really great job of handling adversity. And so I think that's probably the biggest change for us. I mean, our leadership has been great over the last few years. This group has taken some of the things that they've liked from previous years and have added some things. And I think the sacrifice that Marco and Oscar in particular have made over the last several months has really impacted the team positively. And they're being selfless about what they're trying to do as well. They want to share the love with their experiences and really pull everybody else along with them. And it takes a team effort. I've seen a lot of guys make that breakthrough jump that you're really looking for. I think over time everybody gets better in college for the most part, but everybody's looking for that one breakthrough jump, and we've started to see a couple of those even within the last week. If we can get all of those guys to do that, then this team's headed for special things.
Hate to put you on the spot, but is there one guy that's really made that kind of biggest jump this fall, or a guy that you've seen really step up?
Yeah, I mean, Oscar made a major jump. It would be unfair not to include Marco as well. Right. I mean, both of those guys went out and at different times in the fall had great single success. Right. Marco won 6 matches at All-Americans, made a really good run at regionals, and then Oscar qualified for NCAAs through sectionals. Right. Really an amazing several results that he had there, and they've continued to back that up. And then obviously in doubles, they are 3 in the country. They made the finals of All-Americans. Were a tiebreaker away from being an All-American automatically twice already in the fall.
Right.
And so, they've had great success, but, even coming into last week, I mean, Louie and Luke have made really great jumps and good strides. They, their results didn't come early on in the fall, and they dedicated themselves to finding ways to have success. And by the end of the fall, they actually made the finals of a big PTT in Fort Worth, played each other in the finals. So they won a combined 11 matches, which was awesome to see. And then they've carried that into this past week. I mean, they both look really sharp and ready to make an impact at a high level for this team. And so, there's the obvious ones that we like to talk about, but I think these guys really stand out as making a big move.
Baylor and Waco, home of college tennis. I don't know if we have a phrase or logo for that, but obviously hosting a lot of big tennis tournaments over the next year or so. You got a chance to host the NCAA fall. This was a new format, fall individual singles and doubles championship. What was that like? It seemed like maybe you had a little apprehension about it splitting off like that, but how did you feel like it worked out?
Yeah, I think when it first happened, I was skeptical, just as a coach of college tennis and wondering how this is going to work, and is this the right thing for all of college tennis, for the bigger schools, for the smaller schools? Right. What is this going to do to us? As the ITA laid out the plan with the NCAA, it felt like a cool opportunity. Right. As I saw the buy-in and engagement from the student athletes in the system and how much they really wanted to play the pathway, I got pretty excited. And of course, I mean, I'm somebody that wants to be in control of things. And so, to have the opportunity to be the first ones to host it, it was stressful just because we want to do a great job. We want to prove the concept. The NCAA, the ITA, everybody's counting on Baylor to kick this thing off right. But I would rather have that opportunity than to go somewhere else and see how they would do it. And I mean, what an unbelievable job our athletic department did. I mean, Brent and Katie, Kenny stepping in to help as well, just Callie, helping and just lead the charge, to make sure we put on a great event. And Max and Jackie did an incredible job on the ground floor, and everybody stepped up. I mean, I've never seen anything like it. There's a book called Unreasonable Hospitality, and you could really feel that type of treatment of giving these student athletes, the fans, the coaches, all the support staff, just this next level treatment that would make them feel special for being at the premier individual event for college tennis. And I think we pulled it off. We had great weather. Everything went about as smoothly as we could have hoped. I think we learned some things that we want to do a little bit differently in May when we host the team event. But all in all, I thought it was a great first time, and I think college tennis and all of our stakeholders feel positively going into year 2 of the pilot program.
Yeah, if I remember right, you said there were a lot of opt-outs last year at the NCAA singles. Maybe it was mainly singles, but it was a big time buy-in this year.
For sure, it was. We had some individuals that chose not to play in the fall that are at the top of college tennis on the men's and the women's side. Right? Correct. Yeah. But that's their choice. Right. Those that played the pathway, there were 0 withdrawals on the men's side, and there were 2 on the women's side due to injury. Yeah. That is a very good statistic. Yeah. I don't know the women's side, but in the spring of 2024, there were 14 withdrawals on the men's side and singles, and we went through the entire doubles alternate list, which is 10, and then they had to try to look for other teams to play in the event, and that doesn't feel right. I mean, it's such a prestigious event. So I think the buy-in was at a high level, and so hopefully we can continue to build on that.
Does that, you think that, you kind of mentioned it, but do you think that experience kind of helps you going into this spring where you're also hosting the ITA National Indoor, first couple of rounds of it, kind of co-hosting with SMU. SMU will take the last 2 rounds. And then obviously Big 12, NCAA team championships. Do you think that it helps you going into this spring?
I think we're putting we're putting a lot of people to work, which is obviously we're incredibly grateful for it. But I do think any opportunity that you have to run through something and then get to host another high level event and then another high level event and then culminate with the team championships, we will be a well-oiled machine by the time that May rolls around. And just to see the attention to detail that everybody has, it's been really special. I mean, we know we have a great athletic department and the best staff in the country, but to see them at work in kind of a separate role, taking this on and doing it with an open mind and a smile on their face is really cool to see, and it makes an impact on our student athletes. They see it, they are more grateful as a result, and I think for us, it's just an excitement of what's to come.
Did you get good feedback from coaches and players and everybody? Or?
Incredibly good feedback, and sometimes I tell them, please, I know you are going to tell me what you want to hear, but hey, what can we do better? And certainly there's a couple things, that we want to adjust going into the spring, but the experience of the student athletes and the coaches was very positive. And I think, just the city of Waco and the growth and development has made a huge impact. Everybody loved being here and being downtown and all the new restaurants and shops, and the weather was excellent. And, our facilities are first class. I mean, it's a world-class tennis facility. All the doors that we were able to open up from our athletic department, just really, it blows everybody away that comes in. And so we're able to show all of those things off as well. But again, I think, we say it all the time, but the people that we have here really separate us. And we were able to display that with our incredible, volunteer staff from within our athletic department.
From your perspective, and I know you were, not that you didn't have faith in those guys, but getting guys there, you mentioned Marco and Oscar, but Devin and Chambor also made it, and then Devin and Oscar in singles. It had to help just to have guys there. You didn't want to host and not be there, basically.
Studying a new pathway and trying to figure out how are we going to qualify. I knew we have guys that deserve to be playing in the event. We should have some representation at the championships, but if they don't show up in a qualifying round or they're not able to win, then we just don't get in. And so it's a totally different thing. It wasn't based on ranking in any way. And so the first tournament All-Americans, I wasn't nervous there. I actually, Isaac was there during the qualifying rounds, which is probably good for the guys, because I was following the scores. Actually, I was at the opening, the Foster Pavilion dedication, and we were walking in the hallway when they beat TCU 10-8 in the breaker. Marco hit an inside in forehand winner to win the match, and I was, so excited. It was a huge relief to just know, hey, all this work that we're putting in, like our student athletes are going to get to enjoy it. Our fans, the staff are going to get to see our guys play, and it just rolled from there. Devin and Z were able to qualify a couple of hours later. Then Devin and Oscar were able to qualify through sectionals. Our ladies team, Christina and Lua, were able to qualify at their section, and so it was great to have the representation. I think it is something that our program, our athletic department is deserving of when we're putting that much effort. So you definitely want to see the green and gold out there, and we had it in strong numbers. Yeah,
that's awesome. Baylor tennis has long had pipelines to several countries around the world for a long time. But this fall signing class, you get 2 5-star American recruits, both top 50, and how big was that I guess just in terms of the program, but maybe kind of, particularly across the country for you to get a couple of top Americans here?
Yeah, no, we have long had an incredible product and have always done very well internationally. I think that was the focus with previous staffs, and we've continued to attract the best of the best from around the world. With with me taking over, I really want to, try to attract the best Americans as well. And we've worked really hard to build those relationships and, to help everybody see, hey, Baylor's a great destination for American players too, just like we are in all the other sports. And it takes time. There are, like you said, there's pipelines. And so, certain schools get branded in certain ways, and ours was branded international. And I really think we should be both. Right. We should have the best Americans coming to Baylor. We should have the best international players. It's just a great place to come and live, study, and develop your game, and really develop as a person on and off the court. And so we've finished second a few times here over the last couple of years with top recruits, and we're fortunate enough to be able to land a couple of just fantastic young men and great players that have bright futures. Not just on the court for us, but off the court here as representatives of Baylor University. I mean, Blake and Drew are special young men that come from amazing families and are going to do great things, and their commitments and just really even the guys we have on the team right now. Even though some more are international than American, they do a fantastic job of recruiting the next guys. And being an attractive place when guys come in to visit. So we're continuing to have success in future years as well, and are just excited to continue to build our brand as just a wonderful destination for anybody that wants to become better on and off the court.
Awesome. That's Blake Anderson from Prosper, Texas, and Drew Hedgecoe from Fayetteville, North Carolina.
Right.
I was going to say, you're familiar with that area, right?
Right in my backyard. Yeah. So it was pretty cool to be able to get, a player like him out of, off Tobacco Road, really.
Right.
I mean, it was it was not easy, and there's a lot of great programs there in North Carolina, and I think my relationships there and Coach Hamilton's relationships really made a difference. And then Blake, I mean, when he committed, he gave me a picture of himself with gear on when he was 7 years old, Baylor gear. It was really cool, and just said, this has been a dream of mine, and I'm excited to live it out. And so, really neat to have those guys coming in.
That's fantastic. I personally have a few matches in mind, but are there some on your home schedule, because you've got a great home schedule of matches, are there a couple that maybe Baylor fans should circle on their calendar?
I'm trying to think of the ones you don't want to circle. I mean, we just have a
Did you say
nail
19
schedule.
home matches or something like that?
It probably is about 19.
And then obviously with the Big 12 and the NCAAs too.
We're gonna and so we're playing national indoors. So hopefully only 2 matches here. If we win both, then we'll be going to SMU. Right. But it's 2 or 3 matches at home and at national indoors, and we'll be playing in the Big 12 tournament. Hopefully we'll also be playing at the NCAAs at home. And I think we're almost a week away from playing 2 teams that were semifinalists.
Right?
Wake Forest, a national champion TCU at home on the 17th and the 20th, and then San Diego, got the better of us at NCAAs. Right? We've got to get some revenge on them here in a couple of weeks, and then we will play teams like Illinois, Arizona, who was those are top programs. Arizona State at home, so our schedule is really, really tough. I mean, the National Indoors event is something that we've never hosted before. Right. It's a ticketed event that will be different. That's something new for fans. Okay. That usually come to our matches, and so I think that's something that's going to be really special to play at night at home against one of the best teams in the country in a national tournament. That's an experience that most fans haven't had here, except for maybe the Super Regionals. Yeah. So Friday, Saturday, the 14th and the 15th of February are going to be really cool.
That's pretty cool.
So, we're not really dipping our toes in the water with our schedule. We're just getting right to it, and hopefully our fans will enjoy the best of the best coming. And I think we have a team that's going to stack up in the same way.
And you play Ohio State on the road, so you get 3 of the 4 semifinalists. The one you're not playing is Texas.
I know.
You would have played them, but they've gone to the SEC.
They moved to the SEC, and we just couldn't. Unfortunately, we couldn't work it out. Bruce's schedule was tight, and we wanted to make it work, but we already had something on that day, and so we're going to play again in 26.
Okay.
So for our fans, I know everybody from Texas, from Baylor, our players, their players, everybody wants us to play, and and we've made a commitment that we're going to continue to foster that rivalry as we have with with other schools like that, and really trying to even expand regionally. We're playing Rice for the first time in a while. We're going to continue to play SMU. Working on Steve at Texas A&M. We're going to get that one eventually. Baby steps. We play TCU twice every year. I just think that's what the fans want. That's what these student athletes want. And we want to have the best schedule in the country, and this is the best region in the country. So we just need to, we can stay close to home and still put together an elite schedule.
You've never been shy about that, about scheduling, folks. Do you worry at all about it just being too demanding, like beating them down or anything? Or
I think it's a balance for sure. The guys want to win every time they go out on the court. And they want to lay it on the line. That's why you come to Baylor, to face the best. You have to beat the best to be the best, and that's who we are, and that's who we want to be. So I want these guys to learn. Even when we made the finals a couple years ago, we lost a few times. That's how they get better. That's how we develop, and we want these guys to be resilient and to want the challenge of match after match. We're not taking anything off. We're not getting anything free that comes easily, and I think that will always continue to be the case. It's a great tool in recruiting. It's a great tool in development, and you see our guys get better as a result. Is it easy? No, but is it worth it? Absolutely.
It may be some of what this weekend is about, but do you have an idea on the lineup? Are guys, still battling for positions, that kind of thing? You have so many guys returning, so you probably had a pretty good idea, but what does that look like right now?
We have a really deep group, so much depth, so much talent, quite a bit of experience, as you said, that we could play our lineup in almost any order, through the top maybe 8 or 9 guys, which is a great problem to have. That being said, I'm not sure yet. I think we're going to get some looks from quite a few different guys this weekend. See what doubles combinations work best, to see kind of where guys will fit in the lineup. It's a very nuanced thing. You've got to get guys in the right position to have success, and some guys do better at certain positions and handle certain game styles that you might see at different positions in the lineup more often. And ultimately we'll play our lineup in order of strength, and ours just happens to be very close. It's a good thing, because I think we have a lot of guys that if you rolled out at 1, 2, 3 are going to have a ton of success. And so we'll keep working on it, and hopefully we can get these guys into a position that they understand and are comfortable with here. Because we've got a week before we're going to play Wake Forest, and it's going to be go time.
You and I like to finish with some fun stuff. Looking at the Baylor baseball signing class, I saw this guy named TJ Woodson from North Carolina. You got a scouting report on that guy, Richmond?
Yeah, Richmond, Virginia.
I'm sorry, Richmond, Virginia.
I have a little bit of a scout on him. We've been working out together here over the last couple weeks, and it's been tough. It's been tough for him, but maybe good to have his big brother pushing him in the gym and on the court a little bit. But man, he's a special young man. I'm so excited to have him, and my family moved here about 50 feet away. Which is really
cool. Is that
cool.
A good thing?
It is a good thing.
Okay.
It's I've been telling everybody it's a new social situation. For us. We went to the movies, and there were 9 of us. We took up an entire row, which is a new thing, but so cool for my girls and just the whole family to be close together. My sister's playing at Abilene Christian and basketball, and so it's nice to be close enough to go and watch her play, and to have her be able to drive over and spend time here on the weekends when she can. But yeah, my brother is, I'm no expert on baseball, but my understanding is that he has a swing that looks like my dad's and has better defensive hands than my dad. And I think my dad was pretty good from what I understand, So, no pressure on my brother, but, I'm really excited to have him here close and to just be a fan of his. I'll help him maybe off the field with some financial advice maybe. maybe, and just to make sure he's staying disciplined and committed, and just takes full advantage of what a special place Baylor is. But he's going to be in amazing hands with Coach Thompson and that staff. I was able to spend a lot of time around them throughout that recruiting process and over the last couple of years. And I mean, they're people that I look up to. So I just couldn't be happier to have my brother learning and growing under their development. And of course, to have my dad close by is going to be cool for me and for TJ as well.
Former tennis SID Max Calderon submitted a question: which member of the Woodson family gets ejected from a tennis match first?
Oh, geez. I should probably take this one because, I would hate to have to deal with Vanessa hearing that. Does
she get a little
Well, she's very
up?
competitive and intense, and so she's not going to take any crap out there. But I'm the only one that's gotten a code violation, and so I've probably been the closest to getting ejected. But it's a funny question given that my dad's going to be here, and he's gotten thrown out of many baseball games.
How does he do that? Does he?
He's very intense, and he's definitely. I've watched him get thrown. The first time he ever went back to NC State as a coach when he was with Valparaiso, he got thrown out of the game, and so he likes to he likes to make sure everybody knows he's in control. But we're all kind of intense competitors, and we want to defend our players and stand up for them. And so too good for Max. I would say it's probably me, but if any of us got thrown out under the right circumstances, I wouldn't be surprised.
And see, I don't see that from you. I watch you during matches. You look pretty laid back.
You've missed a couple of times.
You're fairly calm inside, but
there's a story. I don't know if it's true or not. A few years ago, I think everybody says I threw a banana. I don't know if that was actually, if that happened. I hope there's no video out there, but sometimes I get a little heated, but only for the right reasons, of course.
Yeah, we'll wrap up with one that's personal for me: pickleball versus tennis. You were there when I hurt my knee playing tennis 2 summers ago. Now I've since had my knee fixed, I guess, and still trying to get back, figuring out, can I play tennis? I got a pickleball set for Christmas. Max says that's actually, because I felt like that was safer, but he thinks it's more physically demanding. I don't know if he's talking about the movements or something. I don't know.
It's different. I was actually being out in Indian Wells. There's a ton of the members there at the club play both, tennis and pickleball, and a lot play both on the same day. And if you're used to playing tennis, there's a motion in pickleball where you have to step back from the kitchen and hit a ball. And that's just not a movement you would ever do in tennis, but you'll do it if you are playing at a high level and you're dinking the ball back and forth in pickleball. You will step back 20 times in a point. And that's just a physical movement that tennis players are not used to, and that can put some weird wear and tear on your hips, actually, and your joints. But it kind of depends on what level you're playing at. Tennis is definitely more physically demanding than pickleball.
You still want me out there on the tennis court, right?
I think it was a freak accident that happened. You guys were in clear control of that match. You were headed to victory, and it was probably Max's fault.
Anyway,
that you
it
got
was Max's fault, I'm sure.
But you're repaired. You're ready. We just need some warmer weather. We got to get you over to the indoor and get you training again. Absolutely. But honestly, I'm not against pickleball like maybe some other tennis people are. I think it's a great sport. I think it's a racket sport. It's something that it really brings more eyeballs to tennis too, because they're related. They're going to be played at the same venues, and so I think we just need to co-brand them and exist together and understand that you can play both, and many of the people, that are recreational players are doing both, and I think that's a wonderful thing.
Cool. Well, Michael, I appreciate the time. This has been fun, as always.
Thank you so much, Jerry. I appreciate it.